Hey my friends, welcome back to the channel. I am Huck, and today I'm taking on the Rad 9 challenge of the 9 movies that scared me the most. Like growing up as a kid and as a teen and maybe a young adult, it's sort of like what got you scared in your life that kind of has stayed with you. And I'm going to weave a little TV into this too, because I saw that Garrett wove some TV into his, so I'm definitely going to embrace that a little bit. And I will leave links for Mel and Justin and Garrett's videos below. They're amazing, so go check those out. But for right now, it is time for my Rad 9 movies that scared me. All right, y'all. Now, before we dive into this, I do want to knock off a couple of honorable mentions before I get to the Rad 9. Things that definitely are worthy of being in the 9, but I just sort of kept these on the perimeter. They were on the list at one time off, so I think I'm good with the 9 I've picked. So because of that, here are 3 honorable mentions, and the first one I'm starting off with is the original Frankenstein. And I picked this one over other things like Dracula, because Dracula was spooky and the Mummy was kind of scary, but then like he stops being the Mummy and becomes Imhotep like right away. Like you never see the bandaged Mummy throughout the Mummy. But Frankenstein, like that look when he's first revealed, Karloff nails that character with no words, and it is terrifying. His look was terrifying. It spooked people out back then, and this spooked me out as a kid as well. So I've got to show some love to Frankenstein. Now, as a kid, I ain't gonna lie, look, right here, Scooby-Doo, y'all. Some of the ghosts, you know, and those like weird-looking aliens and with the sound effects and the voices and just, you know, those same sound effects you hear over and over in all of them. Some of those characters were quite well done and felt very scary and terrifying. And I got why Shaggy and Scooby were always afraid, because some of those ghosts and creeps and stuff were very, very scary. So as a super little kid, I got to go with some Scooby-Doo. I mean, that was the point, right? They're ghost chasers. And while it was made for kids, you know, they did make those monsters pretty spooky. And the most current movie that I'm going to show you today is the one that had the ability to draw you in because of sound, or the lack of sound, and that is The Quiet Place, or A Quiet Place. And the reason so is like the use of silence in this film pulls you in so well. Like I cannot believe I didn't see this in the cinema. Like it just sort of missed my radar for some reason. And I wish I could have seen this big screen, but seeing it at home was just as good. When it was just silent, it just sort of brings you closer to the screen, and you're kind of waiting, and then boom, then stuff happens. And I don't know, I just thought A Quiet Place was one of the freshest, most inventive, scary movies I've seen in a long time, that really just forced me to lean in and pay attention. And then just, I was on the edge watching this, and A Quiet Place too. I thought it was equally as good. I thought it was a worthy sequel. So those are my 3 honorable mentions. Now, let's get to the Rad 9 things that scared me. Okay, at number 9, I'm going to start off with The Wizard of Oz. Because, man, come on, growing up as a kid, that witch, Margaret Hamilton playing this witch, was perfect casting. Perfect. And the part that was the most creepy, right, is when she was there with those flying monkeys. I don't know what it was with those flying monkeys, but they look so wicked. And then they and they jump out the window, and then they go down and they rip the scarecrow apart, man. They tear him in half. I was like it was scary, and the dog's freaking out, and they snatch Dorothy and they fly away. That sequence, I always hated that when that showed up, because it was always kind of this fun musical with some spooky little moments. But when that moment hit, it was kind of like my least favorite as a kid, because that's when they all got snatched, and it got super dark at that point. And oh, kind of got chills thinking about it. So yeah, number 9, Wizard of Oz. All right, next up, number 8 is V, the miniseries. Look, this thing was a great sci-fi alien invasion is like a miniseries and made for TV movies. And back when miniseries were huge, and there were two moments in V that were absolutely something I'd never seen before. And that is one where that one person, they grabs that person and they peel their face off, and it reveals the lizard skin underneath. Because you didn't know up until then. You just thought they were aliens who looked like us, right? Common thing. We've seen it before. But no, I mean, they don't. They fabricated fake faces. It's amazing technology, by the way. Because underneath, they were lizard people, man. And they ate rats and all that stuff. So the scene when, the leader, Jane Batter, when she opens her mouth and eats the rat was spooky. When they rip the face off and show that it's like a lizard underneath. Oh my God. Like, I was like, oh, because you just didn't see it coming. And it was a real shocker of a moment. It also gave us Robert Englund, an early Robert Englund playing Willie. It was a little precursor to Nightmare on Elm Street. But yeah, man, V and those lizard skin freakazoids. All right, at number 7 is The Exorcist. Of course, tons of people are going to have this on their list, but it's on my list as well for a really good reason. Let me tell you. Since I didn't get to see this growing up because I was too young, in the 80s, we had this boom of midnight movies at our cinema. We had a movie theater called Cinema 11, and they, on the weekends, Friday nights and Saturday nights, would have midnight movies. And that's where I saw some wild and weird stuff, some good off the beaten path kind of movies, and movies that sort of had their time in the 70s. They came back, and Exorcist was one of them. And I just heard this was such a great, scary movie. And man, let me tell you, it's the sound design that scares me, because when you're sitting there, you hear throughout the cinema the moans and the creaks. And I mean, it gets to the back of your neck. It gets in your shirt, in your skin. And you're like, it sounded so real. I wasn't sure that noise was coming from the movie. Right? That's how, thank God the theater was balanced nicely so you could have that reaction and that experience. So it's because of that experience with the sound design, and of course what was going on screen helped, because it was terrifying as well. Yeah, oh my God, yeah, I got to give it up for The Exorcist here at number 7. Keeping it going in the 70s, this one I actually saw this in the theater by accident. I sort of went into the wrong auditorium, and not on purpose. I know you're thinking, right, heck, now's a goody two-shoes, man. If I was in the wrong cinema, I'd be like, oh, I'm not supposed to be here. I'm going to get caught and busted. But I saw enough of it to freak me out. So I had to, come back and see it. Eventually, of course, I ran out to whatever movie I was supposed to see. But I was intrigued enough with just a little bit I saw that I had to come back. So I brought my older brother with me. We got tickets. And man, oh, it was some scary stuff. Again, the difference between this and Aliens, this is like a horror sci-fi, and the other is like an action sci-fi, right? But this one really draws you in, again, with the darkness and the sound design and the silence and the, looking around. And I don't know, there was something super creepy about this alien. It had the second set of jaws, which you'd never seen before. And they just whoosh, and they came out and bust your head open. And Jonesy, run! I don't know. This was just, and when the chest burster scene, man, when that popped out, you are not ready for that at all. They were telegraphing it, like, oh, he's not feeling good. But man, when it came out, I'm sure you've all heard the story too. Ridley Scott didn't tell the actors exactly how it was going to look and what was going to happen. So when it came out and blood sprayed everywhere, like the reactions on those actors' faces, that's what we felt. The moment we saw that and reacted, they reacted the same way, because they didn't know what was coming. So yeah, so if you can take that moment in time, there it is. That scared the heck out of me right there. So Alien. At number 5 is another TV show that I do not own. I hope to soon. It's actually put out by Kino Lorber, and that is Shack The Nightstalker. Right? When I was growing up, this show, it was very like pre-X-Files, very X-Filesian, right? And I do believe Darren McGavin even showed up in an episode or two of X-Files, which was a nice little nod. But there was an episode, let me tell you, when you're a kid, and this is on TV, it is freaky. So we all know the story of the Headless Horseman. Well, there was an episode nicely titled Chopper, because it was the Headless Horseman, but he was on a motorcycle, like Chopper. So Chopper. Nice little double entendre on that title. But it was a headless motorcycle rider with a sword, by the way. You got to have a sword while he's riding one. And he's chopping people's heads off, man. And he doesn't have a head. And there was something so, like, when you're waiting for that headless horseman, if you will, to show up. And when he shows up on this motorcycle, slinging a sword around, and you see Kolchak's face, because he can't understand how this person has no head and they're on a motorcycle, and neither do you. And it was really, really something. Like, it was very scary, right? I mean, yeah. So when that motorcycle showed up, it left a lasting impression in me, to the point where, like, I would always want that episode to come back on. I'm like, oh, I hope that Headless Horseman episode comes back on, because that was really scary. So yeah, that's something that got me shaking in my boots, y'all. Shack The Nightstalker, episode Chopper. Next up at number 4, I don't have this on physical media. It's a pricey thing to get, but one day I hope to get a copy, and that is Dawn of the Dead. Another movie I saw as a midnight movie. So I saw a lot of my creepiest moments were from these midnight movies. And the scene specifically that freaked me out is in Dawn of the Dead, is when that zombie it comes up to that chick and bites her in the neck and just bites a chunk of meat right out of here and pulls it out. I was like I had never seen that kind of effect before, ever. And that was stunning. That was jaw-dropping to see that happen. So yeah, so seeing that happen in Dawn of the Dead, literally like, oh my God, this is absolutely terrifying. Like, what's next? What's going to happen next? Of course, all the eating and stuff that goes on in there, and bullets to the head and everything. But that moment specifically, when he just took a big old honking meaty chunk out of her little neck zone, yeah, that was wicked. So there you go. Dawn of the Dead at number 4. All right, y'all, we are counting it up now at number 3 with It. This one right here, the TV version with Tim Curry. The new one's great, too. Oh, my God. Very scary and creepy, too. But this is more like, again, growing up, what sort of stuck with you. And that's a relatively new scare. So I'm gonna lean into this one with Tim Curry, because, man, Tim is such a great bad guy. I mean, remember him as Darkness and Legend? That's a fantastic performance that was terrifying. But he made creepy clowns just like, they'd been around for a while, but boy, the ultimate creepy psycho alien clown. And his performance was excellent when he's in the sewer and he's like telling him to come here and he grabs him. And you're the young kid too. Like, I was a young kid, so when you see him grab a young kid and pull him in there basically to his death, that is something that's going to stick with you, let me tell you. So yeah, what a fabulous performance by Tim Curry. Absolutely shuddering with fear from that clown. And look, this is why people hate clowns, man. When people go, man, I hate clowns. Well, there's a reason, and there's a reason we keep making scary clown movies, man. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, Terrifier, It, reboots and sequels and all that. So yeah, for me, it all comes back to this one, because this is the first creepy clown thing I saw, and that is It. All right, at number 2, we're almost there, y'all, is American Werewolf in London. Oh my gosh. So seeing this in the theater was quite something, because it was everything I love in a horror movie. It's like practical effects. When he's wolfing out, man, everyone knows this. When you think of American Werewolf in London, the first thing you think of is that transformation scene, because it has not been duplicated since, ever. Like, there's been great transformation scenes in some other movies, for sure. But it's hard to take anything CGI seriously, because that's a tool you can cheat with. You couldn't cheat. You really had to earn these transformations. And with every bone crack and every yell he did, and just every fingernail popping out and all hair coming out, man, that was... And look, not just the transformation scene, but when he became this wolf and was just creeping around slow. When that guy is in the subway and he's hauling ass like down the escalator and he trips and falls, and he's kind of coming down, and you realize he had dropped his umbrella. Like this, the one thing you could consider as a weapon, because it's got the nice point on it. He drops that and his briefcase, so he doesn't have really anything on him to defend himself. And as he's going down the escalator, you just see like the 2 paws coming out, and then the head of the wolf, and it's all from like up above, and you just see that wolf slowly coming in, and man, that slow creep, oh my God. It was so frightening, because this thing, it was so big. This werewolf was so big, and when it came creeping in the shot, you like Like that's what he does. Like, oh my God, like it's there. And then, and then the attack, it just cuts away, right? On that one. Like there are others where it actually, rah, and it's, or, it cuts to his face, and then it cuts away. But there are others where it's like, munching and gnawing on people, which was awesome and terrifying as well. So I mean, I've got to put it's my favorite horror movie of all time is American Werewolf in London. All right, at number 1, and this is probably my second favorite horror movie of all time, but the scenes in this, when we're talking about the scenes that scared us, right? So the scenes in this got me even more than all the ones I've described before, and that is John Carpenter's The Thing. Man, when that guy, when it starts when he's trying to like work on that one guy and like, pump his chest, and he goes to put the defibrillator on there, and as he does it, the chest cavity, it like cracks open, and then these teeth are in his chest, and then they chomp the dude's arms off. No, so nasty, and it all happens so fast. You're just like, oh, like you're like, like you pull back and you scream. I'm the kind of guy, like if you sit near me, it's a little weird because I literally will yell, oh, like super loud, because I'm getting into these movies and it really affects you that way. And then, the head dropping off and the tentacles coming out and the head walks away. You're like, what is going on here? And it's all practical effects. Great makeup by Rob Bottin, just phenomenal. Same guy that did Darkness, Tim Curry's makeup in Legend. So this guy is absolutely phenomenal at that kind of stuff. So, man, when it comes to just scaring the crap out of you, it's got to be John Carpenter's The Thing. Man, and that's all you need. Those scenes showed you that this thing can do anything. Once it becomes you and it's inside you and affect, I mean, look, head runs away with tentacles, chest with teeth, like anything. Like your mind was just going crazy with what is going to happen for the remainder of the movie. And it puts you on pins and needles for the rest of the movie. And that is an excellent way to scare the crap out of people. And that is my top 9, my Rad 9 movies and TV shows that scared me. That is it, y'all. And look, I challenge y'all out there too. If you've got some Rad 9 movies, leave them in the comments below. Let us know what they are. And if you want to make a video, join the fun, because this was a fun thing to work on for sure. So all right, y'all. And who knows? Maybe I'll call somebody out specifically in the comments below. So be on the lookout. Maybe your name will be down there. All right, y'all. That's gonna do it for now. Thank you so much, and thank you to the Rad Pack, Mel, Justin, Garrett. Look, if you guys have not seen those videos, go over there. They're phenomenal videos. A lot of people have already taken this challenge. Go check a lot of those out. It's very fun to see what has been scaring people. And these are mine. Y'all, thank you so much for checking out this channel. And thank you, Rad Pack, for putting out this challenge. If you're new here, do me a favor. Hit like, subscribe, smack the bell. I greatly appreciate it. Until next time, check out these other great videos.